I assume we're streaming by now. We are probably live by now, so let's just, as you can hear from the top, my piano playing has gotten much worse. Hooray. All right, welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I have been away for a while. I have been on a sabbatical. I have been busy battling my salve. Taking care of some health issues and other things that I needed to deal with. Probably should have dealt with them some time ago, but at least I'm on top of it now. I will have to pop back in for another surgery soon. The penis reduction didn't take. I told the guy, you're going to want to lose at least a foot, which explains why he chopped off my foot during the surgery. Anyway, we'll get it sorted. So I'm back basically tonight, and I will, once again, as always, I will attempt to stream more often. But I won't. But if you are new to the channel, if you haven't watched this before, please subscribe. Please subscribe to me on YouTube or X. Everything's in all the details are in the description below. You can find me on X, YouTube, Kick, Rumble, fucking, what are the other ones? Twitch. I'm all over the place. Although I think Kick deleted all my streams, the sons of bitches. Anyway, so tonight I am going to play you an interview I recorded a little while ago with Netanyahoo Tuddenham and Winnie the Blues Mandella. And if you have been a guest on this show, please subscribe. Kind of the least you could do there. And if you are going to be a guest on this show, please, for the love of God, plug in a fucking microphone. Especially if you're a musician. You must have a microphone sitting around somewhere. Plug it in. I tell them all, the most important thing to doing a podcast is decent audio, but do they fucking listen? Do they fuck? Anyway, big story this week. 17-year-old girl murdered in Thailand, and now they're thinking the guy that did it might be a serial killer because they've found other girls in suitcases. I mean, come on, people, what do you think? This guy's made of suitcases? Anyway, it's been one of those stories that makes me avoid social media. It's so fucking, it's typical media bullshit. Anyway, not going to get into that just yet. We might come back and talk about that later. We'll warn you, the audio is not great, but I've done a few things to try and fix the audio as best I can, so hopefully it is now listenable. I will also warn you, I know people who do watch this show, like me, probably not the biggest sports ball fans, so there will be a few sports ball references in this interview, but just, you know, there's some funny bits as well. Lots of jokes about glue and cum and politics. We might, you might not agree with the political sentiments, but it doesn't matter. Sports ball is for me, the reason I don't like sports ball or watch sports ball is because it's the same as social media. You pack 50,000 people into a fucking stadium. They all take different sides. My team's better. No, my team's better. And they all scream at each other across the field for 90 minutes, not making one iota of difference to the outcome of the fucking match. And they all have a good time doing it. That's what social media is. Everyone's yelling at each other about, my guys, but oh, if you voted, you're all fuckheads. Never once making a lick of fucking difference. Unless there is a social media bounty up on an issue like there is with this Thai girl, clearly. Not one post has ever said Thai prostitute. Not that being a prostitute would mean she deserved what she got. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying the story has a certain slant to it. And I hate the story because there's too many connections to my life and I don't like it. That story fucked me up on Monday and was pretty much the reason I bombed at Mazzy. And I hate that because I love Stav and I want to do well at that room. But I bombed hard because I was hating humanity too much. But I just find it interesting, the colour of that story, the way it's portrayed, and it's never enough for people. They're never going hard enough. But, you know, a Jew killed a 17-year-old prostitute here in Melbourne, did pretty much exactly the same thing as this motherfucker. These same people weren't outraged on social media about that, and the media definitely called her a prostitute and a drug addict. 4 Muslim boys raped a 17-year-old girl in her own fucking car. Not a lot of outrage about that. The story definitely has a slant, and I'm not pro the murderer, I'm anti-murdering. I've always been anti-murderer. I was anti-murder before it was cool. I'm just anti the media. I fucking hate the media, and I hate people that get on social media and accept social media fucking money to slant their stories a certain way and tell the same story over and over again to make sure they get their message out. Anyway, that's my little rant and intro to the show. Let's get on with it. There's a bit of a song at the start. Whether you agree with the message or not doesn't matter. It is quite catchy. If you like Tism, you'll probably hate this. Let's get on with it.
Trump hung around with Mr. Epstein, banging girls who were 14. Famously said, grab him by the gun, maybe chicks prefer if you're up front. It turns out chicks don't mind a rapist just as long as he's racist. Stupid hot girls at my high school thought bad boys were so fucking cool. So I went to university to think about equality. But it turns out chicks don't mind a rapist just as long as he's racist. Feminists, they came gunning for me. My jokes were not their cup of tea. Wouldn't shut up about patriarchy and toxic masculinity. Whinging, whining, bitter hags, cancelled blokes for telling gags. Me Too was gonna change the world, make it much better for all the girls. But it turns out chicks don't mind a rapist just as long as he's racist. Yeah, it turns out chicks don't mind a rapist just as long as he's racist. Yeah, it turns out chicks don't mind a rapist just as long as he's racist. Yeah, it turns out chicks don't mind a rapist just as long as he's racist.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Netanyahoo Tuddenham with It Turns Out Chicks Don't Mind a Rapist Just As Long As He's Racist. Do yourself a favour and get down and buy that one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is once again another box of dogs.
Again, but I know what'll make you feel better.
Oh no, not another box of dogs!
It's another box of dogs!
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am here with leaders of Hamas, Netanyahu Tuddenham and Winnie the Blues Mandella. How are you guys?
We're good. We're good. Are you good, Winnie? I'm writing a song. You caught me right in the middle of a songwriting moment.
You can never be too miserable, Scotty.
I've heard that. I've heard that is a life philosophy.
No such thing as rock bottom. So
It was awesome to hear you say do yourself a favour, because I swear to God, this is like doing bloody countdown with fucking Molly Meldrum with leukemia. Is what it feels like.
That is exactly what it is. You don't know how true that is, dude.
That's how when people speak about you in the industry, Scott, they say That's your byline. They go, oh, Scott Horne. Oh, yeah, Molly Meldrum with leukemia. That's how you're referred to in the music industry, of which Winnie the Blues Mandella and myself are a part of.
I worked hard to get that title, and I'm proud of it.
Yeah, you did. Yep.
Yep.
Your work at the Royal Children's Hospital did not go unnoticed.
My work with glass tables was even more famous. Anyway,
And I think you're onto something there, Scott. Talking about the release, I think you're constantly going on about mindful masturbation. That's all about release.
well, I think it's important that you are. I don't understand that whole message. It's very weird. I think most people are pretty fucking mindful when they're masturbating. Or maybe that's just me. I don't know. So, let me ask...
My mind will wander. I'll tell you that. I can't stay... I've got a lot of ADHD issues. Can't concentrate on... And as I get older, it needs a lot more concentration.
Did I leave the stove on? Yeah, I know. That one. That old chestnut.
Have I turned the stove on? No, I've turned myself on.
So, Des Netanyahu Tuddenham, I have a question for you.
Well, that'd be a good fucking start.
Yeah.
I came here for the hard questions from Molly Meldrum with leukemia. He asked the hard questions. He asked them. He asked them specifically. Asked away.
Gaza. Is it a genocide or is it mere wealth redistribution?
Well, a lot of people are down on Gaza, but as a footballer, I found that he did most of his best work in the front half. And I understand that Gaza gets accused of genocide from time to time, but who hasn't had a night that they would rather forget on the town where a few people died? We've all had that happen. So I reckon I don't know. Like, as far as Gaza's concerned, as a player, I found the work that he did in the front half. And we're obviously talking about Gary Lineker here. And so, is it a human rights issue? I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of stuff's up for debate. And I tend to answer most of these questions by going with my go-to in this day and age, the Charlie Pickering. I find Gaza problematic. Yeah, that's my answer. Gaza's problematic.
I find football problematic, so this is going to be an interesting interview. If there's too many more football references, I'm just going to tune out. Unfortunately.
Well, you brought it up.
I'm very un-Australian. I think Gaza's just wealth distribution myself. I think those Palestinians have been living high on the hog for too long.
Oh, you're talking about Gaza.
Well, your name is Netanyahu, isn't it?
I've seen what I see what I've done there.
Yeah. I think everyone saw what you did there.
Gaza, and I've thought of Gary Lineker. And it's not the first time I've made that mistake.
Has Gary Lineker often been accused of genocide? Because that would...
I just told you.
That would...
all the way back to the World Cup in 1982, I think that was mentioned.
It would cause some consternation.
Oh, it most certainly did. But, I mean, I'm not against wealth distribution. And just because I've chosen to purloin the name of Netanyahu means that I'm not an oracle when it comes to such weighty matters. And it's why I'll often mistake, I mean, when you say something like Gaza, I'll hear Gaza. It's not front of mind.
I thought you were an oracle.
We came here to talk about the music. Can we talk about the music?
You may not know this, but Des has a book in him.
Really? Anal sex accident.
I was thinking more of the literary kind.
Oh, you mean inside? Like he has a book I thought you meant someone had. I thought there was like an orgy in a library and.
That's your.
Books go missing. Books go missing all the time.
That's.
Do you know what the name of the book that I have in me is called?
What's it called?
The Joy of Sex by Dr. Alex Comfort. Oh, the irony.
Joy, as you may know, Scotty, is a fleeting emotion, bookended by suffering. There's no denying that humans are social animals and happiness is contagious. So, go ahead, treat it.
When he will do this from time to time, I'm going to have to warn you, just spontaneously philosophical comments will swing forth.
Yeah.
I still don't understand half of what she's talking about, but I keep her around because a lot of people think that the act is quite lowbrow. It just lifts the standard ever so much.
Elevates things a bit, yeah.
It's a great way to segue out of a poorly constructed gag where you've tried to ask me about a serious thing and I've just waxed lyrical about a footballer out of the UK from the 80s.
Right.
Interpretive dance is an art form.
It isn't.
I am well known for, and
It's not a fucking art. It's just dancing with a smidge more meaning.
And then deciding what it means afterwards.
No, you can leave that open to
interpretation. Yeah.
That's right.
That's the fun part.
There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that claim to be an art form. I mean, a lot of people think a podcast is a fucking art form. It's not an art form. It's just blathering on.
That's basically what the art form is.
You tell that to Marina Abramovich.
I will if you can tell me where she lives. I don't just not here. Send it in an email.
So, she's done a lot of work in her 70-year career, but on one occasion she restaged a very famous, very seminal work actually, where she performed masturbation underneath the gallery floor.
I do that all the time.
It was a seminal work, and it was performing masturbation.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it was in.
You sure it wasn't seminal?
She was restaging Vito Acconci's work that he performed in the 70s under a gallery. So it was all about.
He played for Italy. Am I right?
He was an artist.
Oh, but he played for Italy.
He was an artist on the field. What that man could do with a ball.
1974. I think it was the work of Diego Maradona that overshadowed what he contributed during that particular tournament.
Well, when he produced sperm as part of the result of his artwork, Marina made a comment, very well known by her devotees. She produced humidity.
That went straight over my head.
This is sometimes it gets too highbrow, Scott.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'll never say no to the credibility it leads the project, but sometimes I'm at a loss to understand what's been talked about.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just here for the rape joke. So
Oh, I know. That's why we do this. That's what the whole show is, basically. Usually.
That's why we accepted your invitation. Come and have a chat.
My invitation, when you called me up and said you should have me on your show, that invitation.
Look,
Well,
Right.
everyone
So you
should
two are clearly...
experience it
Sorry.
at least once.
Go on.
Well, I'm just, making sure that everybody, your listeners, know that we should have a near-death experience at least once.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about some guy jerking off in a gallery. But
I've moved on. I've moved on.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
She's grown, we haven't.
And it's paradoxic that when we experience the inevitability of our own mortality, that we understand our purpose. And our lives have meaning because our behaviour aligns with our values.
And if your purpose is whacking off in galleries, so be it.
Well,
It's seminal.
that was an
Mm.
that was an art form.
Mm.
That was articles.
A lot of art on the internet these days.
Is
I am nodding with approval.
statement.
So let's get to the music. You two are
Yes.
clearly big-time MAGA enthusiasts, big-time Trumpers. What inspired you to move over to the MAGA movement and spread the word about Donald J. Trump, greatest president to ever president a president?
I can probably field this question. You can waste. So, if there's any kids out there watching, you can waste years and years and years of your life hanging on to your ideals, but nothing feels like there's a transmogrification that will take place when you understand that embracing the future of fascism and authoritarianism, to which none of us can hold back the tide. And once you embrace that, then the art tends to flow, and that's probably what the both of us have experienced. And I know that in a moment Winnie's going to say something that's going to be incredibly philosophically sound.
Probably about masturbating,
Possibly.
I hope.
But what she really will mean when she mentions that is that you can become downhearted and even morose at the possibility of living in a future society that's run by the types of insane people that embody the Trump, MAGA, whatever it is, way of looking at the world. But once you've embraced it, it's not as problematic as it first seems. That's the best way I can probably respond to that rather inane question, I think. Yeah.
Mm.
Well, I can answer on from my perspective why I was involved in that particular track, and it was to attract these sorts of comments. I'll read them out to you because they're gold.
Mm.
Steve
Oh,
Welsh.
these are from the comments from our newly found fan base.
Yes.
MAGA type retardate to people.
They're just money. You couldn't pay for these sorts of reviews. Steve Walsh writes, "You should go
Right,
ahead
oh,
and die." Dana Shaw writes, "Don't know what schools you went to, but when I was 14, these bitches were out fucking old guys all day long. Not saying it was right, but come on, stop it. You guys are ridiculous." Another one,
Fair.
Mark Hyatt writes, "Man, these people are FKing stupid. I mean, let's just say you're right. Still to devote all this time and effort, TF." He said, "Grab them by the pussies." Anyway, sounds better the way Trump said it.
I liked that review in particular, that have you ever tried to find a word that rhymes with pussy? I tried in the writing of that song, I took a long, and then suddenly realised, oh no, if I just say cunt, the word front will rhyme perfectly with it. A lot of your critics in this day and age don't really understand the suffering of the artist as they create. It's very easy to sit on the internet and pontificate about what you've just listened to and criticise it, and that's clearly what this person has done. And they will get that particular, pulling apart the lyrics, and I love the fact that the fandom space of the average Trump voter will still stand on principle and say the word cunt offends me. I mean, because they're American, apparently it's incredibly offensive for an American to hear the word cunt. So when I say that Trump said grab them by the cunt, I think that's got a lyrical swing to it, wouldn't you say? I grab them by the cunt. The pussy is just,
It's definitely more direct.
It says, when you're saying you're going to grab someone by the cunt, it sounds like you mean it. If you say, I'm going to grab you by the pussy, it sort of sounds like you're flirting with them a little bit. I mean, in this day and age. No, it's interesting that people will take issue with the lyrics and then swing in with a justification. And I think a lot of the people who wrote those reviews didn't really understand that we were trying to lionise their hero. I think they took it as some sort of criticism.
Yeah. Well,
you can only produce the art that you produce, and the rest of it is open to interpretation.
And also, you don't get to choose your supporters. Like Trump has nothing to say on this because you don't choose your supporters.
Wayne Lundgren wrote, TDS masked up, ? Ooh, faggot social justice warrior. Won't show your face, probably shouldn't.
Can you put that in your bio, Des? Faggot social justice warrior? I think that's just kind of great.
Well, it speaks for itself.
It does.
And Jesse, this could be a woman, Jesse Horne, writes, really? After all we have seen, he didn't do what you accuse him of. He can sue you too. I hope Trump sees your music and goes after you.
I hope Trump makes you famous as well. That's what would happen.
I'm starting to rethink the whole strategy the more that I think. These people do sound like they're not necessarily the sharpest tools in the shed.
They sound angry.
But it's all it's all streams, isn't it? We're all making money hand over fist. All the streams.
Well, that's the point. That's the point of doing any of this, is to scam people and rip people off like our hero, Donald J. Trump.
Exactly.
He's shown us the way, man. He's shown us the fucking way. And these people, ungrateful losers. That's what I say.
Well, it's every bit of artistic output in this day and age, if it's not a part of the race to the bottom, then it's obviously the opposite. And it's trawling some sort of idea of high-minded, I need to set a example, I've got to search for better angels, but that's not where the cash is.
No.
And so the cash is down there in the gutter, and I'm not saying there's a lot of it, but I mean, there's a petrol shortage coming. You want to get as much of that filthy, dirty bottom of the gutter cash that you can.
Yeah.
It's all still earning interest somewhere.
Yeah. As I say, as long as there's pennies in the gutter, get in the goddamn gutter.
get in the gutter and scoop them up.
Scoop
The
them up.
thing is, the truth is, Scotty, we embody, Des and I, we embody the rage of the disaffected, disenfranchised, privileged middle class in a primal, ritualized, cathartic performance to awaken the unconscious and confront repressed trauma.
Yep, that's exactly what Winnie said. It's 100% exactly what we are. Yes.
That I felt that.
I'm going to take a sip of my red wine.
Oh, you bourgeois son of a beach.
To illustrate that point.
Yeah.
So come along to one of our infrequent live support performances and indulge in releasing all of that middle class rage. And we will take the lower class. I mean, we're obviously happy to read out their reviews. They can barely fucking spell. If you go and read, oh my God, they can't put a fucking word together. But I mean, you know, Winnie likes to pitch everything toward the middle class. I'd take the oligarchs if they want to come. You know, I mean, I'm happy to swim around in the gutter with whomever wants to join us there. We're all going there. You know?
We're certainly no Pussy Riot, that's for sure.
I think it was Oscar Wilde that said, some of us are in the gutter. Oh no, all of us are in the gutter, he said. But some of us are looking up the skirts of chicks who aren't wearing any underpants so that we can see their cunt.
Well,
Exactly
that
what it
ties in nicely because I was going to say, wouldn't it be cunt riot? You could make that one word, cunt riot.
Exactly, they scripted as well.
Exactly.
Soft cocks.
Oh, beautiful. Now, I can't remember. Was this the song you cut out a verse? This was the one you left off a verse? Or was that another song? Because I really liked that one.
No, we left a verse off a poem.
A poem, that's right. That's right.
Yes, we left a verse, a published version of the poem Burning the Bridges of James... Burning the Todd... To remember the name of my own artistry. Burning the Todd Bridges of James Madison County was the poem that we lopped the final verse from. And that was, it wasn't even due to legal advice. It was just because it was too much of an in-joke.
Decency.
So
Go with decency.
Yeah,
Just go
there
with
was
decency.
there was some decency there, but it was such an in-joke that it was for that particular performance. The poem itself stands. That, you know, for those people out there who have ever had a friend who was completely murdered to death, it's just a poem about the strange punishments that you might exact the person who murdered them to. That's what the poem's about.
Well, we've all had those thoughts.
It's very tangential to what we were discussing like 2 minutes ago.
That is true.
But yeah, no, that's not the... No,
This is not the one. Okay.
It's released in its entirety.
One thing I will say for this song, at least it's short.
We aim for brevity.
I love brevity. I did a whole album of...
anything that's longer than 20 seconds.
Yeah.
So I really pushed the boat out with this one. It runs to 1 minute and 15. And I still think you get exactly the same amount of cash for every single stream. 0.00000000317 of a fucking cent.
Oh, you're in the big leagues.
And imagine how disappointed I was when I found out it was a New Zealand cent. But it doesn't matter.
So tell us your origin story. What created these supervillains?
There's Netanyahoo, Tuddenham, myself. Talking of myself in the
Speaking of yourself in the third person, yeah.
which Yes.
That's how it's done.
I came to prominence performing briefly with the band This Is Serious Mum in 2011. After failing dismally at that task of performing with that band and receiving 100% derision from the critics on that little thing that we all like to call the internet, I retired for some period of time. I took a lot out of me, and I grabbed a mortgage and bought a whippersnipper and just started drinking in the suburbs. And that was when I really started to get in touch with what it means to be fucked. And I looked around the suburbs and saw other people who were fucked. And the more it went on, the worse it got. And then eventually I had to stop with all of the self-destructive behaviour. And I decided to I decided to come out of hiding in 2018, and I made a short video because by this stage, This Is Serious Mum had a tribute band that was fronted by a lesbian who loved David Bowie. And I always thought that was strange, because I don't know if you know about what David Bowie got up to with 14-year-olds, but my God, he could have been the president of America if people had understood what sort of a visionary David Bowie was at that time. But I always thought the lesbians weren't really into that sort of thing.
Oh, you don't know lesbians.
Winnie the Blues Mandella and myself resurfaced at that point. Winnie had a deeper voice at that time.
You transitioned since.
And
I get it.
Transition. But I try not to draw attention to that. And I've often found this particular iteration of Winnie the Blues Mandela is a smidge more intelligent than the one that was hanging around in 2018. I formed the worst This Is Serious Mum tribute band in the world, which I called This Century Sadly, and started performing poetry in various places around Melbourne. This was 2022. And the rest now is by and large abject history.
And how often do you find you have to explain your jokes?
I didn't know there was any jokes. Is there jokes?
Well, that actually... Okay, this is serious.
It's all meant to be taken with a pinch of salt.
Well, this question then doesn't make any sense. What's the most unhinged fan encounter you've ever had from someone who took your satire as policy advice? But as you've just explained, this is not satire. This is all deadly serious.
Look, you might like to look
That's
up...
what makes it satirical, is the fact that it's so serious.
Winnie the Blues has her own webpage. Scotty, you might like to go to refer to her beauty tips. She also has advice on relationships.
The beauty tips: wear a full face balaclava.
Beauty is on the inside. And she.
That's how I ended up with. That's how I ended up with a book inside. Took the tips too seriously. Do you want to know the name of that? Great Expectations.
Winnie is also a quite accomplished performance poet. She you may see her on stage.
Can you hit us with a bit of that?
No.
No? Hang on.
Not unless I'm paid.
Not unless you're paid. Hang on. Oh, no, it's not going to do it. I wanted to full screen you saying no. Anyway, it didn't
No
work.
is a sentence. Did you know that?
It's what?
Fix it in the book.
Yeah,
No is a sentence.
No is a sentence.
Yeah. No full stop. That's a complete sentence. Don't need to explain it. I
No, it isn't.
performed with a as Auntie Jacinta Price in the sellout performance of
Auntie
colonization.
Jacinta Tom Price.
Price.
That was the name of it. Auntie Jacinta Tom Price.
Thank you. So when
It's
I
a play on the whole idea of an Uncle Tom.
Ah,
So she becomes an Uncle Tom. And Auntie Jacinta, drawn from the indigenous people having will routinely call each other uncle and auntie, even when they're not related. So she's Auntie Jacinta Tom Price, which is the name of a mountain, Mount Tom Price. It's incredibly clever. It's not funny, but it's incredibly clever. And I've just disproved my own point. I did just explain.
I've always found the best jokes are the ones that require in-depth explanation.
Oh, I tend to agree. Yep. I hate that. I hate having to go when you find yourself having to save a gag and you have to say jokes aren't funny when you have to explain them, and that gets the laugh. You've done that yourself,
Of course.
Scott.
Of course. Many times. Yeah.
You say something incredibly well put together,
Mm.
and the fucking complete dolts of people who are sitting in front of you, otherwise known as an audience, are staring back. What did you say that for? And then you go, blah, like I just did there, blah, 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 blah. All the thought you put into it. Oh, yeah. Okay. Not laugh. They'll go, oh, yeah. And then you'll go, jokes aren't funny when they have to explain them. And then they'll go, oh, and that'll get the laugh. And that's when you want to kill yourself and everyone else in the room. I understand why that doesn't happen more often. We've been talking about America. America is well known for its, mass school shootings. Why isn't there more mass school shootings in comedy venues? I've never understood that.
It's all
So many comedians. Why every single time it's a nightclub, it's a school, it's a McDonald's? When is a comedian just going to go, jokes aren't funny when you have to explain them, and the audience goes, oh, and then he just goes, oh, fuck this. To understand the whole room.
and then walks out and says, I killed
I'd like to
in
see
there.
more of that come out of America, personally. I'd like to see more shootings in comedy clubs. Surely they could get on with that at the mothership. Wouldn't you like to see Joe Rogan take one right through the fucking middle of his head?
Well, that should honestly be on Kill Tony. That should be someone coming out and
Why doesn't
spending
someone kill Tony?
1 minute just fucking bang, bang, bang. That'd be an episode I'd watch, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Tony Hinchcliffe's face just before the bullet. Oh, yeah. It's that stupid laugh that he does. I'm betraying the fact that I obviously know quite a lot about and follow comedy. I don't know why I would do that.
Why would you do that? I've often wondered that about you, Des. You seem obsessed.
Why would it's like I've done comedy. I've almost talked about doing. There's a chance I just broke character. God, I was really worried that if this went on for too long, I'd struggle to work out the difference between who's behind the mask and.
You do seem to have the necessary contempt for the audience.
I do, yeah. Well, that informs a lot of my work.
The thing about comedy that you might not know, Scotty, it may be the social glue of community, but it's actually trauma that is the epoxy adhesive that forms lifelong bonds.
Hey, I've always said that.
So that's your key takeaway about comedy.
That's actually incredibly witty, Winnie. But I reckon you might find yourself in a situation where you would say that, and then people would be like, what's an epoxy adhesive? Kids today don't know what epoxy adhesives are. If you talk to a child in this day and age and if you said to a kid, all of us would have had the experience where our fathers at some point would have said, you go and get the araldite. And you had to go into a shed and go through this drawer of knickknacks and find the red tube and the blue tube, right, which were never together. They were always in a separate place. But you knew that if you turned up with just the blue tube, your dad would punch you in the fucking head because it was the 70s. That's how we learned shit. So I obviously did that at one point in my upbringing. I turned up and said, I've got the araldite. And he's like, one fucking tube. Bang! Right? It's imprinted, isn't it? Now I know, always bring the blue tube and the red tube, right, of the araldite. You try explaining that to kids today. And that's an epoxy adhesive reference that we just tossed out there. Expect the viewers who are probably like, what's glue? What's epoxy adhesive? Well, glue is glue. Epoxy adhesive, that was the fucking, not even super glue. That was the glue that, if you broke crockery, ceramics for instance, you could use an epoxy adhesive to glue that shit back on, and you could even put it through the dishwasher and it would still hold. You can't do that with super glue or just normal glue, not Tarzan's grip. I mean, people don't remember that. Tarzan's grip, that was another type of glue that used to get around. But araldite, that was the glue of the glues, because you mixed it together, you see, and that was what gave it its epoxy quality. And, once again, I've explained the joke, and now it's not funny.
No, I think it's important. I think it's important that people learn. I've got araldite on my shoe right now, holding the sole of my shoe on. This is how much of a part of our life it is.
So is that like araldite brand araldite, or another type? Because we all know that eventually araldite, the copyright or whatever, the patent ran out, because they were the epoxy fucking resin guys, araldite. Were you using like genuine araldite or that knockoff type epoxy?
I doubt it was genuine. It came in, here's your first clue, it comes in a twin tube of two syringes attached together. Yeah. Like you're a moron.
I've got something to do.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're doing. Yeah. But there was nothing worse. There was nothing worse when you could find the red one but you couldn't find the blue.
Yeah.
So to some degree, I must admit, and I've got that from Bunnings. I've gone, this is pretty good. But then you've got to work out how to pull the thing back. You don't want the two things to mix together, and you've got to put that little thing on the top and turn it in. So it's actually quite clever. As when it comes to the overall design. But
I bet I know how that happened. I bet I know how that came about. Someone threw the tubes in the drawer, not knowing there was some excess araldite dripped down the side. They glued together, and they went, "Hey, I should start a business."
Yeah.
I bet that's how it happened. But I keep seeing on the internet people keep posting these things about the time that God told Abraham to kill Isaac, and they use that to say, look at this is terrible. And I'm like, I grew up in the 70s. That was my weekend.
Oh, yeah.
That was just, Dad tried to kill me every weekend. That was just normal.
Yep. And mainly it was usually because the local priest told him to.
Yeah.
Well, that was Saturday afternoon for most local priests, just going through the Rolodex.
Mm.
G'day, Mr. Smith. Kill Dennis. G'day, Mr. Brown. Clint's a bit of a cunt. Fucking off him. You know, click. 30 cents a pop that was through Telstra.
Mm. Yeah.
Every single local. You know? And then what did you have to do at the end of all that? Go out to the shed and find your owl die because you got to fucking glue your shoe together.
Exactly.
And people say that the world today is going to hell in a handbasket. They do. They say that. And you think about all these sorts of experiences. I don't know whether that particularly holds up.
Hmm. Well, let's proceed assuming that you are somehow involved in comedy. Let's just jump the shark and go with that assumption. So I want to ask you, which political scandal was so absurd it felt like the universe was writing your material for you? What's your favourite political scandal? What's your favourite mass shooting? What's your favourite genocide?
Columbine. I always liked Columbine because it was named after a little chocolate.
Yeah.
Toffee.
Made me hungry
So
whenever they talk about it.
The Columbine massacre? Oh, really? What are they going to do next? Name one after fantails?
Mm.
So you don't have to explain that.
Chewy. Yeah.
I've set it up. I did the setup with the Columbine bit. Fantails. 2 types of chocolates. Give me 2 seconds. I'll have an Arrow Die callback for you. Just going to have to think about it.
Yeah.
The Whitlam dismissal is always probably my favourite political scandal.
Yeah. He deserved
There's
it.
been plenty since. Well, they all deserve it, but it seems the more as every decade rolls past, and we got to discover with the release of all of the files now, the involvement of the CIA and royal family and the letters that were going back and forth to John Kerr, and it still boggles the mind that these great big organisations thought that Australia could make a difference by having a government that was just starting to move in this direction, possibly being and socially democratic. I mean, it's hilarious, and it changed so much, but hasn't it changed so much about the way the whole country's gone? Every single person that complains about the fact that Albanese's shit scared of the Jews. No fucking wonder.
It has made them behave.
That story would be passed around campfires. Oh, do you think I should stand up to the Americans and the Jews? What happened to Whitlam? Oh, that's right. Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah, okay, fine. Let's buy the fucking sub. Pay whatever you want. Pay whatever they're asking for the fucking submarines. Just because you never know what they might come down here. You know, last time all they were dismissing. These times they might get a bit shooty.
Well said.
What's your favourite political scandal?
Probably Monica Lewinsky. Anytime there's cum involved, I'm cum on a dress. I'm there.
See, that's
anytime someone gets cum on their dress and sticks it in the closet.
I know why it's your favourite, because it was a seminal political.
It was seminal, exactly.
exactly the intersection between the body politic and body politics. People are just so confused. But you've just nailed nailed it there.
I feel like you just Araldited that together, Des, beautifully.
Yes.
Yes.
That was the epoxy resin moment of everything that's taken place today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And sometimes,
absolutely.
sometimes I think the universe might be sending you. It can send you a message when you've come full circle that maybe the end of the episode is just around the corner.
It might be. Well, let's ask you this one. Let's ask you this though. Jeffrey Epstein. In conclusion, Jeffrey Epstein, bad guy or misunderstood scamp?
Oh, can't it be both? Can't we? Epoxy resin, two of them. I just think that the general sense of what we now consider to be morally incorrect, ethically problematic. The lines moved so much over to there, pushed it back all the way over to here. And here I come, back I am to make the point that I don't think he was misunderstood. I think he was a scamp. I think he was a fucking evil motherfucker. The shit that he got up to, I mean, we only know the half of it, and that half of it's pretty terrifying. Scamp, yeah, bad guy, evil guy. Was he misunderstood? I don't think he was misunderstood. I think we all pretty much understand why people seek the services of people like that. And we also understand why Mossad would fund somebody to collect so much
Semen.
surveillance information to be able to hold it over the people in positions of power. That also makes a whole bunch of sense. I mean, that's quite rational, isn't it? Why leave it to chance? If you want to corrupt any given system, and you know the democracy cannot be. It just you can see that over the last 40 or 50 years, the concept of the world, where the world will go, being left up to democratic process. Have you met people? I mean, they're fucking so stupid. Most of them don't have a clue what's going in it. They get off, they go, I'm going to vote for this. And so you can understand that if something like a place like America or the UK or Australia has elections and these things could be left up to the will of the fucking people, well, it just makes rational choice. It makes a rational sense that you would put a guy like Epstein in charge of tempting these powerful people to get up to scampery, as you say, as you put it, and then videotape it and then say, I will release it to the world. But hopefully, part of the project that we're involved in is to get down into the gutter, make as much money as we can, take every opportunity to proselytise for epoxy resin, araldite. Pick your poison. There's lots of different epoxy resins that don't just because it takes 5 to 10 minutes to properly set and then 24 hours to properly harden. Isn't that a metaphor for everything that we've become? We want the fast, we want the super glue done in 60 seconds. No, you want a job done properly, you've got to let it harden for 24 hours. So the work that we're involved in is to get down into that gutter and to lower the standards. And if we do lower the standards, then we will get to a point where everywhere can be like America. And the subject of the song is to point out adroitly that, well, now there's a qualifier, right? It is the worst thing you can do, except for if you're happy to say something about the blacks or the Muslims or the brown people or the Jinx, or whoever it is that you don't like, if you can say that, then I'll be prepared to look past it. And if we can start to look, if I can start to say racist things and you can look past all the rapes that I've done, then maybe we'll get to a point where we can be so enlightened that you can look past all the kids that I fucked. And then all the murders that I did, and all the Holocaust that I did. And before you know it, we're all starting to look at people like Idi Amin and Mussolini, and obviously, let's talk about Hitler in that conversation, and Pol Pot. And we can start to revive the way we feel about them as well,
Well, you leave Hitler out of this.
No, you've got to bring him into the conversation, because if you're honest with yourself,
He was the greatest man who ever lived. I agree.
Well, he wasn't the greatest. Don't get involved in hyperbole, but he certainly wasn't the worst bloke that ever lived. I mean, and when you look at someone like, we've talked about Trump, and he's obviously the subject of the song that we've played at the top of the show. But if we look at the work of Trump, and he's tried to do a whole bunch of stuff in this day and age that Hitler was arguably a lot more successful at doing, and he didn't have the technology to work with. Have you seen how poorly constructed and how terribly his final solution is going in America? It's not going very well. They've hired all the spaces, they've imprisoned all the people. Is anyone dead yet? No. How does that measure up to 6 million? It doesn't, What did Goebbels have to work with? A few newsreels, pamphlets being dropped from the sky, and a couple of radio shows and radio announcers who were trying to dispirit the troops. That's all he had to work with as a propaganda machine. Stephen Miller can't hold a candle to Joseph Goebbels. And then look, this subject matter is some of we've got material coming out over the next few months, and you'll get to hear some of the songs that celebrate some of the great dictators of the past, and it is about moving the line of basic human decency, just pushing it back, and eventually we will get to understand that the last 200 years of human history have been an aberration. I mean, people in the future. Imagine sitting around in 100 years' time and someone brings up the idea of human rights. They'll chuckle. Human rights.
What even are they?
Dear, oh dear. Oh, they'll say things like, oh, those woke people of the 2000s used to go on about human rights. I remember when people talked about China having a disregard for human rights. Nobody's talking about that. They're talking about tariffs on beef.
Yeah. Well, misery is one of the most basic of human rights. Because life is suffering, as we know, and therefore to deprive anyone of their right to experience a full range of emotions, including misery, is to deny them the most basic of basic human rights.
And I feel like tonight with this episode, we've helped them with that. And on that note...
And that's why we keep Winnie around, because she can take a whole bunch of stuff I was just talking about and just succinctly put it into a pithy little philosophical statement. It pretty much hangs together in the same way.
Well, this has been fun, informational, informal, gluey, all of the good stuff.
Make sure you look out for Des Netanyahu Tuddenham on the socials. Come and join in. Send us a pithy review. I'd love to hear from you.
Get on those comments.
And Winnie the Blues Mandella. I have my own Facebook page where you can read up on those beauty tips, recipes, and relationship tips as well.
Fantastic.
Philosophical statement.
Of course. That's throughout my work. Imbued.
Can you leave us?
It's been our pleasure and privilege. It's been a privilege and a pleasure to appear on the Box of the Dogs.
Well, thank you both for appearing on Box of Dogs. We look forward to seeing you amongst the riffraff. So long.
Yes.
And we're back. We're back. And we're black. Let me just move the comments over so I can read them. Because there's some great fucking comments coming in. I have really missed you guys a lot. Can I move it? Here we go. I'll move that over there. We'll put him there. And I can't really read. This was one of my favorites when it came in. A lot of gays in this video. I walked in here and said, wow, that's a lot of gays. Oh, fuck, that was so good. Once you get the whippersnipper, it's all downhill from there. You sound like a Tism fan, my friend. This is Watch Mojo's top 10 genocides. That cracked me up. Yes. Really don't. I apologize for the slander on Mr. Epstein. He was a good guy, really. He was just a... Oh, hey, let's turn up the microphone. I forgot to do that. All right, sorry about that. I knew I'd forget something. I'm freshly back, so I have been away, as I said at the top of the show, on a bit of a sabbatical, battling my sav. Yeah, so I apologize for the slander on Mr. Epstein. Yeah, I was saying just a lot of gays in this video. I walked in here and said, wow, that's a lot of gays. That cracked me up. Yeah, and this is Watch Mojo's top 10 genocides. Yeah, I have missed you guys. As I say, I've just been away tending to my health and not wanting to stream much recently because the world has really been quite a dark place recently. But let's get back to it and start bringing some light back into the world. Tomorrow night, if you are in Melbourne, I will be at Marrakesh in the city. Doing some comedy and probably getting drunk again, as is my want. So yeah, if you are around Melbourne, drop down and check that out. That will be fun. Should be fun. Yeah, but democracy really is a bad idea. I've always said I always thought democracy was a fucking bad idea because really, what does it do other than incentivize the elites to dumb down the populace and control and restrict the flow of information? You know, I think it was, I don't know if it was Socrates or that other gay guy, Greek gay, who said, basically said that anyone who has to work shouldn't be allowed to be citizens because they basically they couldn't turn up to the polis and get the policies. Yeah, man, I've been hanging out for you to go live again, mate. Yeah, man, I've been meaning to do it. I just, every time I sort of start to get set up, I just have had this real aversion to coming back to the internet because I feel like I'm at like it's just the internet has become such a pile of shit and it feels kind of futile. But I got to keep in mind, I got to get a little perspective about it because really the reason I stream is to hang out with you guys. Really, that's all. That's why I do this. We have fun talking, and I feel like we have good conversations. So, yeah, that is my main reason for wanting to do this. A thought I had today, a thought I've been having for some time. I'm going to go over... I am going to bounce shortly because I do need to get to the gym and finish my workout. I only did like I did most of it. I did about 2/3 of a session. Let me just get some of this pre-workout. That makes for a good workout. So, love bombing. Psychology pathologizes everything to the point where everything's a disease, even the good in people. And we know who fucking invented psychology, you know? That, mate, you touched me there. Mate, you are the kernel of corn amongst the steaming shit that is the internet. Mate, I can't tell you what that means to me. Unchewable, that's me. I always come out the same as I went in. I'm gonna put that in my fucking bio. The kernel of corn in the steaming pile of shit. I want to talk, like, I had a thought a while ago, like when I was trying to inspire myself to come back and do more of this. I want to, like, promote men and women coming together again, because we are broken as a society, and as long as men and women are this divided, we're fucked. So I want to do a bunch of episodes, and there's a doco that I want to play, and there's a breakdown of the documentary, and it's beautiful. And like and it really demonstrates how when men and women come together, we are fucking unbeatable. Like, there is so much strength in men and women uniting. Like, you cannot fucking break a society where men and women are united. But at the moment, we're so fractured, it's just fucking insane. So I want to come back and do some more streams about that. So I will. And I've done quite a bit of research, and I reached out and you guys helped me with it. So I'm going to come back and do those. But just as a precursor to it, and before I do head off to the gym, like, we all know who the father of psychiatry was and what tribe he belonged to and all those sorts of things. But psychology pathologizes even the good in people. It's one of the darkest tricks ever played on humanity. And an example of this that I thought of is love bombing. Because I see this all the time on the internet, where both men and women talk about this, but it's mostly women talk about this, where they'll start talking about their past relationship and how it was so abusive. And the first thing they'll say is, like, he love bombed me. He love bombed me. You mean he did what every other fucking human has done in history when they meet someone that they really like and they're falling in love with them and they want to express that to them? Because that's what love bombing is. What it is psychos are imitating the rest of us. So they've taken this perfectly normal activity and they've pathologized it and they've turned it into something toxic, and it's not toxic. If you're a fucking psycho and you do it to someone. But so now all these people on the internet are just constantly going, oh, he love bombed me. Not fucking love bomb you, but he was fucking napalm, you cunt. You know what I mean? It's just... So I really do want to try to put out some content that really brings people back together. One of the things that made me want to do this was because I fucking love women. I've been called a misogynist many times in the past. So many fucking times in the past. But I genuinely fucking love women. Like, I have a ton of women friends, female friends. And you will find that if women are against you, they will be your greatest enemy on the planet. You won't be able to do anything. They will fuck up everything you try to do. But when women are on your side, they are your greatest fucking allies, and they will stand by you, and they are fucking hardcore. I love, like, I can't tell you how much I fucking love the women. I know how much, maybe a bit too much. And I want to have sex with all of them. Nah, just kidding. There's a few I don't. Anyway, so that's my plan for the future. What do you guys want to talk about? Should we talk a bit longer? I do need to get to the gym, probably. Got some interesting events coming up, gigs and stuff. I'll try to throw those out as much as I can. If you're in Reservoir, I think it's July 16th. That's the day before my birthday. That will be a fun one. That's honestly, that's one of my favorite gigs. The Reservoir, it's at Soul Luna in Reservoir on July 16. We always have a ball. It's once a month. They always have a good crowd. I'm there with friends. Oh, my Pride Month was amazing, man. Full of pride. I was so proud of my Pride Month. That's an excellent question. Oh, I did see, I wonder if I can find, I probably won't be able to find it. Someone, unless someone liked my comment, which they won't have, someone posted something on Facebook basically saying, it was one of those make it make sense things. They were like, men are telling us what women are, gays are telling us what relationship, like all of these things. And they were like, make it make sense. And I said, okay, I'll make it make sense for you. Here's me making it all make sense. You are living in one of the greatest inversions in history. Everything is inverted now. And because the world is in a constant state of revolution. There has never been a time in history, in human history at least, where things have just been like, this is just how it is. This is how we live. And everything is always a power struggle, and everything's always people seeking, and people do this through the means of revolution. It's if you read Dr. E. Michael Jones' The Jewish Revolutionary Spirit, that gives you an insight into it. But it's not just Jews doing this. This is how your enemies attack your country. So as long as we have countries, which I don't think will be for that much longer, as long as we have these things, the world will be in a constant state of revolution. But then even once we don't have countries, the world will be in a constant state of revolution. Man, the boys at work got in the shed and had a big circle jerk to celebrate. Well, good on you. See, and they say we're homophobic here at the Box of Dogs. Bullshit. Bull fucking shit. We're here wanking off each other and fucking circle jerking, and we support them. I support the gays. I love the gays. More gays there are, the better chance I got getting into heaven. Anyway. But what triggered what what was the thing for me that and just back to the interview, you know how I feel about racism. I'm a big fan of racism. You also know how I feel about raping. Big fan, love it. In fact, but it's got to be consensual. You don't just grab a woman off the street and grape her. You don't do that. That's out of line. You got to wait for fucking, for a woman to ask you to do it and agree to do it, which is in this movie that I'm doing. Which is why I'm grateful to all the women that let me practice on them. Good fun. Good, clean, wholesome fun. Read some of their fucking romance literature. You'll see what women are into. Women are always like, we want romance. What kind of romance? What's romance? Candlelit dinners, hold the door open, ruin a perfectly good cape because they don't want to get shoes wet. Then you read some of their romance novels. Yeah. Rich rapists, that's what they want. Rich rapists will fist the secretaries in their lunch break and have a dungeon at home. That's what they're after. Unbelievable. But yeah, no, I love a bit of racism. I think racism is actually very high IQ in this day and age. It's way more high IQ than saying everything's racist. Because if you say everything's racist, you clearly haven't thought about anything in any depth. And as soon as the media says, this is racist, then you just jump on board and you go, it's racist. Bit of racism shows me that you fucking thought about things. That's what it shows me. Love a bit of racism, especially if it's very creative. Like my joke about, meeting an Asian Jew. That's a slippery slope. See, that's a good joke. Racism is the new not being... Exactly. It's come full circle. Very progressive now. I think it is. I'm just glad that everyone's on... But, it's funny, when I first started doing my opening joke, which is I asked the crowd, has political correctness ruined comedy? And they go, oh, yeah, whatever. And then I go, or is it the Jews? People are now very on board with that joke. That's what I love about the world comes around. The world catches up. Gets a bit tiring being so far ahead of the curve sometimes. But the world is catching up. So I'm a big fan of it. I love it. Love a bit of racism. And if he's right, if Des there's right, and chicks don't mind a rapist, it's like, well, then I'm in the clear from here on out. Anyway, enough of that nonsense. I do really want to do these things because my niece and nephew came over a little while ago, and Michael Richards was fucking... He's my new Hitler, to be honest. He's up there. He's in the, I didn't much care for his apology when he came out and he's all like, I'm sorry, it was bad. Backed by Jerry Seinfeld. At least the audience got it. They were laughing. Kramer coming in. He should have done it as Kramer, though. Anyway. But yeah, my niece and nephew came out a while ago and I hadn't seen them for years. The last time I saw my niece was at my brother's funeral, and I hadn't seen my nephew for years before that. And it's like, so you got a girlfriend, you're dating, and he was just like, nah, it's too expensive, it's this, it's that, the other. I think the internet's got people all fucked up thinking, you need money, you need this, you need that. When I was a young blood, as the darkies say, when I was a young blood, we still dated, we still fucked. We didn't care if we had money. Money wasn't the issue. Company was. company and someone to fucking bang ya. That was all we cared about. Chicks dig a good banging. They're way more perverted than us. Dude, anytime a woman calls you a pervert, laugh in her face. Just fucking laugh in her face, because there's no way you're more perverted than what goes on in a woman's... I know what goes on in women's minds. I've talked to them. Filthy bitches. Oh, filthy. And I love them for it. I am in love with women. I am in love with that whole fucking the feminine energy thing that they've got going on, because they are out of their fucking minds. And I love insane people. I think they're great. No, I genuinely do. I fucking love women. Women can save your life. Women don't, it's funny when women are always talking about like they don't have any power. Women don't understand the power they have. You can be walking down the street on your way to the rope store and the rickety stool store to end it all, and some woman will smile at you and you'll go, I think I'll go to the gym instead. It's really the power they have is like they hold the power to life and death. If only they knew it and would stop having so many abortions. But anyway, that's another issue. Let's not get into that. All right, guys, look, I'm going to bounce, but I will be back in a few days. I'm going to start doing this again because I really have missed this. And I will prepare a show next time. It was fun doing that interview. Big thanks to Des and Winnie for doing that. And thank you guys for joining once again. I love you guys. You're the best. You're the best fucking thing out there. And stay mean. Stay monsters. Let's get real.